If your arteries could talk, they'd be screaming for help right now. Every single day, plaque is building up in those vessels, choking off blood flow, destroying your ability to achieve firmness, and setting you up for a cardiovascular catastrophe. But what if I told you there's a warm water mixture you can drink before bed that actually begins dissolving arterial plaque within hours, restoring blood flow throughout your entire body while you sleep? The ingredients cost less than $5. They're sitting in stores right now. And the science behind this is so solid that it's frankly criminal how few doctors are telling their patients about it. Hey there and welcome back to Senior Men's Health. Today we're diving into something that could literally save your life while simultaneously restoring the kind of male function you thought was gone forever. We're talking about specific warm water mixtures that target arterial plaque through multiple mechanisms, breaking it down, preventing new formation, and allowing your body to clear it away naturally. This isn't theory. This is biochemistry working exactly as it should when you provide your body with the right compounds at the precise moment your physiology is primed for repair. Let me start by explaining what arterial plaque actually is and why it's destroying your function and your health in ways that go far beyond just the obvious symptoms. Plaque is a complex mixture of cholesterol, calcium, fat, cellular waste products, and inflammatory cells that accumulates on the inner walls of your arteries, forming a sticky, hardening mass that starts soft and fatty but progressively calcifies into a rigid barrier. This accumulation doesn't happen overnight. It's an insidious, progressive process that accelerates relentlessly as you age, particularly if you've been exposed to years of oxidative stress from free radicals, chronic low-grade inflammation from processed foods or stress, poor nutrition lacking in essential micronutrients, or metabolic dysfunction like insulin resistance that turns your bloodstream into a pro-inflammatory environment. As plaque builds up, it does two devastating things that compound each other viciously. First, it physically narrows the arterial channels, reducing the amount of blood that can flow through them, sometimes by 50% or more in severe cases, creating bottlenecks that starve tissues downstream. Second, it makes the arterial walls stiff and inflexible, impairing their ability to dilate when your body needs increased blood flow, turning once elastic vessels into rigid pipes that crack under pressure. Both of these effects are catastrophic for male function because achieving firmness requires rapid, dramatic increases in blood flow to the pelvic region, up to 20-40 times the resting volume in a matter of seconds, triggered by nitric oxide signaling and smooth muscle relaxation. When your arteries are clogged and stiff, this simply cannot happen. No matter how strong the signal from your brain or how much desire you have, the plumbing is broken at the source. The #1 warm water mixture for dissolving arterial plaque combines lemon juice, raw apple cider vinegar, raw honey, and cayenne pepper in precise ratios that maximize their synergistic effects, creating a cocktail that hits plaque from oxidation prevention, calcium chelation, cholesterol metabolism, inflammation reduction, and vasodilation all at once. Let me break down exactly why each component is crucial and how they work together in an orchestrated biochemical symphony. Fresh lemon juice is rich in vitamin C and citric acid, both of which have profound effects on arterial health that have been documented in peer-reviewed studies for decades. Vitamin C is essential for the production of collagen, the structural protein that maintains the structural integrity of arterial walls, preventing micro-tears that invite plaque formation. More importantly, vitamin C is a powerful water-soluble antioxidant that prevents the oxidation of LDL cholesterol, the critical first step in atherogenesis. Oxidized LDL is the form of cholesterol that actually damages arterial walls, triggers immune responses, and contributes to plaque formation by attracting macrophages that engulf it and become foam cells. By preventing LDL oxidation, vitamin C helps stop plaque progression at its source, with studies showing that higher vitamin C intake correlates with lower carotid artery thickness. The citric acid in lemon juice has another crucial function beyond pH effects. It acts as a natural chelating agent, which means it binds to calcium deposits in arterial plaque and helps dissolve them through ion exchange, softening calcified lesions. Calcium is a major component of hardened arterial plaque, contributing up to 20% of its mass in advanced lesions, and breaking down these calcium deposits is essential for reversing arterial stiffness and restoring vessel flexibility, as measured by pulse wave velocity improvements in clinical trials. Raw apple cider vinegar contains acetic acid and numerous bioactive compounds including polyphenols and organic acids that affect cholesterol metabolism and plaque formation at multiple levels. Research published in journals like the Journal of Functional Foods has shown that apple cider vinegar consumption reduces total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol by 10–15% while increasing HDL cholesterol, the beneficial form that actually helps remove cholesterol from arterial walls via reverse transport to the liver. The acetic acid also improves insulin sensitivity by enhancing glucose uptake in muscles and reducing hepatic glucose production, which is important because insulin resistance contributes to inflammation and accelerated plaque formation through advanced glycation end products. Apple cider vinegar also contains pectin, a soluble fiber that binds to cholesterol and bile acids in your digestive tract and helps eliminate them before they can be reabsorbed and contribute to plaque formation, effectively lowering systemic cholesterol load. Raw honey provides more than just sweetness to make the mixture palatable and ensure compliance. Raw honey contains numerous antioxidant compounds including phenolic acids, flavonoids like quercetin, and enzymes that protect arterial walls from oxidative damage far beyond what refined sugar could ever do. It also has anti-inflammatory properties that help reduce the chronic inflammation that drives plaque progression by downregulating NF-κB pathways. Additionally, raw honey provides readily available glucose and fructose that your body can use for cellular energy production during the overnight fasting period without spiking insulin dramatically, which supports the metabolic processes involved in plaque breakdown and removal, including autophagy and macrophage cleanup. Cayenne pepper contains capsaicin, a compound with remarkable effects on cardiovascular health that have been studied in both animal models and human trials. Capsaicin improves blood flow by triggering the release of nitric oxide from endothelial cells through TRP1 receptor activation. Nitric oxide causes vasodilation, which not only improves immediate blood flow but also creates shear stress on arterial walls that helps dislodge plaque deposits and upregulate protective genes. Capsaicin also has anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties that help prevent new plaque formation while supporting the breakdown of existing plaque by reducing monocyte adhesion. Here's the precise recipe for the primary plaque-dissolving warm water mixture, optimized for bioavailability and taste. In 8 ounces of warm water, approximately body temperature or slightly warmer to enhance absorption without denaturing compounds, combine the juice of half a fresh lemon, about 2 tablespoons, 2 tablespoons of raw apple cider vinegar with the mother, 1 tablespoon of raw honey, and 1/8 to 100.4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, depending on your tolerance. Start low and build up to avoid gastric irritation. The order of mixing matters for emulsion and dissolution. Start with the warm water, add the honey and stir until completely dissolved to create a uniform base. Then add the lemon juice and apple cider vinegar, which will slightly curdle the mixture, but that's normal. And finally, add the cayenne pepper last to prevent clumping. Stir thoroughly for 30 seconds and drink the entire mixture 30 to 60 minutes before bed, sipping slowly if needed. The timing is crucial because you want these compounds working in your system during sleep when your body is in its primary repair and regeneration mode, with parasympathetic dominance enhancing cellular cleanup. Drinking this mixture before bed rather than in the morning allows the active compounds to work throughout the night when several beneficial processes are occurring simultaneously. First, your blood pressure naturally drops during sleep by 10-20%, which creates less resistance in your arteries and allows these plaque-dissolving compounds to penetrate more deeply into arterial deposits without being washed away by high flow. Second, your body's repair and cleanup processes are most active during sleep, with increased activity of lysosomes, proteasomes, and reverse cholesterol transport via HDL, and providing the raw materials for these processes enhances their effectiveness exponentially. Third, the overnight fasting state creates metabolic conditions that favor fat breakdown and plaque clearance through increased lipolysis and reduced insulin, shifting your body into a catabolic state optimal for remodeling. The effects begin within hours and are measurable. The vitamin C and other antioxidants immediately start neutralizing free radicals and preventing further oxidative damage, with blood markers showing reduced lipid peroxidation within 2-4 hours. The acetic acid from the vinegar begins affecting cholesterol metabolism by inhibiting HMG-CoA reductase in the liver. The citric acid starts chelating calcium deposits through ionic binding. The capsaicin triggers nitric oxide release and improves blood flow, with pulse oximetry showing enhanced peripheral perfusion. These immediate effects, repeated night after night, create cumulative improvements in arterial health that build progressively over weeks and months, compounding like interest in a savings account. Now, let's talk about the second powerful warm water mixture, which uses a different combination of ingredients to target plaque through alternative mechanisms, focusing on inflammation as the root driver rather than oxidation or calcification. This mixture combines turmeric, black pepper, ginger, and cinnamon in warm water with a small amount of coconut oil to create a golden anti-inflammatory elixir. Turmeric contains curcumin, one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory compounds found in nature, with over 10,000 studies documenting its effects. Chronic inflammation is a primary driver of plaque formation and progression, initiating endothelial dysfunction and recruiting monocytes. Curcumin reduces the inflammatory signaling that causes immune cells to accumulate in arterial walls and contribute to plaque buildup by inhibiting COX-2 LOX and cytokines like TNF-alpha. It also prevents the oxidation of LDL cholesterol, similar to vitamin C, through NRF2 pathway activation. Multiple studies have shown that curcumin supplementation reduces markers of inflammation like CRP by 50% and improves endothelial function as measured by flow-mediated dilation. The challenge with curcumin is that it's poorly absorbed on its own, with bioavailability under 1% without enhancers. This is where black pepper becomes crucial. Black pepper contains piperin, a compound that enhances curcumin absorption by up to 2,000% by inhibiting glucuronidation in the liver and intestines. Without piperin, most of the curcumin you consume passes through your system unused and excreted. With piperin, curcumin absorption skyrockets, allowing it to exert its powerful anti-inflammatory and plaque-preventing effects systemically. Ginger contains gingerols and shogols, compounds with potent anti-inflammatory and antiplatelet properties that rival aspirin in some mechanisms. Platelets are blood cells that can contribute to plaque formation by clumping together and adhering to damaged arterial walls, forming microthrombi that become incorporated into lesions. The compounds in ginger prevent excessive platelet aggregation by blocking thromboxane A2, reducing this contribution to plaque buildup. Ginger also improves circulation through vasodilatory effects and has been shown to reduce cholesterol levels in research studies by 10–15% over 45 days. Cinnamon affects glucose and insulin metabolism in ways that indirectly protect against plaque formation by addressing metabolic syndrome at its core. Cinnamon improves insulin sensitivity through PPAR activation and helps regulate blood sugar levels by slowing carbohydrate absorption. Since elevated blood sugar and insulin resistance contribute to inflammation and accelerated plaque formation via AGEs and sorbitol pathways, cinnamon's metabolic effects provide protective benefits for arterial health that compound with the others. The coconut oil in this mixture serves an important function beyond flavor. Curcumin is fat-soluble, meaning it's absorbed much better when consumed with dietary fat through micelle formation. The medium-trend triglycerides in coconut oil provide an excellent carrier for curcumin absorption, increasing bioavailability by another 3 FECs. Additionally, coconut oil itself has been shown in some research to have favorable effects on cholesterol ratios by increasing HDL, though this is somewhat controversial and more research is needed on long-term outcomes. Here's the precise recipe for this turmeric-based mixture, designed for maximum absorption and palatability. In 8 ounces of warm water, combine 1 teaspoon of high curcumin turmeric powder, at least 3% curcuminoids, 1 teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper, 1 teaspoon of freshly grated ginger or half a teaspoon of ginger powder if fresh isn't available, half a teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon to avoid coumarin toxicity, and 1 teaspoon of virgin coconut oil. Stir thoroughly for 45 seconds, allowing the coconut oil to melt and emulsify into the mixture, creating a creamy texture. Drink 30 to 60 minutes before bed, shaking or stirring again if separation occurs. The taste of this mixture is quite different from the lemon vinegar mixture. It's earthy, spicy, and warming with a golden hue that signals its potency. Some men prefer this flavor profile for its soothing quality, while others find the lemon vinegar mixture more palatable and refreshing. The good news is both are highly effective and complementary. So, you can choose based on taste preference, alternate between them nightly, or rotate weekly to prevent adaptation. Let's discuss the third powerful option, which uses garlic and cayenne as its primary active ingredients in a potent sulfur-based attack on plaque. Garlic has been used for cardiovascular health for thousands of years across cultures, and modern research has validated its remarkable effects on arterial plaque through multiple rigorous trials. Garlic contains allicin and other sulfur compounds like ajoin and dilyl sulfides that have multiple beneficial effects unfolding over hours after crushing. First, garlic reduces cholesterol synthesis in the liver by inhibiting HMG-CoA reductase more gently than statins. Second, it prevents LDL oxidation through sulfhydryl groups that donate electrons. Third, garlic has anti-platelet effects similar to ginger but more potent, preventing excessive clumping that contributes to plaque formation by inhibiting ADP pathways. Fourth, and perhaps most remarkably, garlic has been shown in research to actually reduce existing arterial plaque volume. One landmark study using electron beam tomography to measure coronary artery calcium scores before and after garlic supplementation found that participants taking aged garlic extract for 1 year had significant reductions in their plaque burden, up to 22% regression. compared to the control group that progressed. This is one of the few interventions shown to actually reverse existing plaque, rather than just preventing new formation, with mechanisms including enhanced macrophage efferocytosis and reduced foam cell formation. For this garlic-based mixture, crush or finely mince 2 to 3 cloves of fresh garlic, about 2 grams, and let them sit for 10 minutes exposed to air. This waiting period is crucial because it allows the enzyme alliinase to convert align in the garlic into allicin, the active compound responsible for most benefits. Skipping this step reduces efficacy by 70% after 10 minutes. Add the crushed garlic to 8 ounces of warm water along with 1/24 teaspoon of cayenne pepper for synergistic vasodilation and 1 tablespoon of raw honey to buffer the intensity and provide antioxidants. Stir well and drink the entire mixture, including the pieces of garlic for fiber and complete compound release. The taste is intense, pungent, and not for everyone. Expect a burning sensation followed by garlic flavor that lingers. Garlic breath the next morning is also a real consideration and can last 24 hours. However, for men serious about reversing arterial plaque and willing to endure temporary discomfort, the powerful effects of garlic make this mixture worth considering despite the taste and odor issues, especially 2-3 times per week. Now, let's talk about the fourth option, which uses hawthorn berry and ginger in a cardiac, tonic formulation that supports circulation and plaque clearance through improved hemodynamics. Hawthorn is less known than the other ingredients we've discussed in modern contexts, but it has a long history of use for cardiovascular health in traditional European and Chinese medicine and impressive research supporting its effects on arterial function and overall cardiac output. Hawthorn contains oligomeric proanthocyanidins or OPCs, powerful antioxidants structurally similar to those in grape seed that protect arterial walls from damage by scavenging free radicals and improving endothelial function through eNOS upregulation. Hawthorn also has direct effects on the heart muscle, improving contractility and efficiency by modulating calcium channels in cardiomyocytes. Better cardiac function means better circulation throughout your entire body, with increased stroke volume and cardiac output, which supports the transport of plaque breakdown products away from arterial walls for elimination via the liver and kidneys. Research on hawthorn has shown that it improves blood flow by 10-20%, reduces blood pressure in hypertensives, and enhances exercise capacity in people with cardiovascular disease by improving oxygen delivery. While most research has focused on heart failure rather than specifically on plaque regression, the improvements in vascular function and reduced afterload suggest significant benefits for arterial health and plaque stability. For this hawthorn-based mixture, you'll need hawthorn berry powder or extract standardized to 2% Vitaxin. Combine 1 teaspoon of hawthorn berry powder with 1 teaspoon of freshly grated ginger for anti-inflammatory synergy in 8 ounces of warm water. Add 1 teaspoon of raw honey to improve taste and provide additional antioxidants. The honey masks the slight bitterness of hawthorn effectively. Stir for 30 seconds and drink 30 to 60 minutes before bed. The flavor is mildly tart and berry, like with ginger warmth, making it one of the more pleasant options for nightly use. Let's discuss creating a rotation protocol that uses different mixtures on different nights to provide comprehensive plaque targeting through multiple mechanisms without overwhelming your system or palate. Monday and Thursday you might use the lemon vinegar cayenne mixture for its chelation and oxidation focus. Tuesday and Friday you use the turmeric mixture for deep anti-inflammatory effects. Wednesday and Saturday you use the garlic mixture for sulfur-based regression. Sunday you use the hawthorn mixture for circulatory support and recovery. This rotation ensures you're targeting plaque through multiple biochemical pathways: oxidation, inflammation, calcification, thrombosis, and hemodynamics, rather than relying on a single mechanism that could lead to diminishing returns. Alternatively, some men prefer to stick with one mixture that they find most palatable and effective for long-term compliance. The lemon vinegar cayenne mixture tends to be the most popular because it's effective, relatively pleasant tasting with a sweet, spicy tang, and uses common ingredients available at any grocery store. Consistency with one mixture nightly is better than rotating through multiple mixtures if the rotation leads to skip nights due to preparation fatigue or taste aversion. The compound effect requires daily exposure. Now, let's address the question of how quickly you can expect results with complete honesty and scientific precision. The honest answer is that significant plaque reversal takes months, not days or weeks, because you're undoing decades of damage to a dynamic, living system. Arterial plaque accumulates over years or decades through chronic insults, and reversing this damage is a gradual process requiring consistent substrate provision for macrophages, smooth muscle cells, and endothelial repair. However, You should notice functional improvements much sooner than complete plaque reversal, often within the first month. Many men notice improvements in energy from better oxygen delivery, circulation evidenced by warmer hands and feet due to peripheral vasodilation, and even initial improvements in male function within 2 to 4 weeks of nightly consumption of these mixtures, as nitric oxide signaling improves and inflammation drops. These early improvements come from reduced systemic inflammation, improved endothelial function measured by brachial artery reactivity, and better nitric oxide production rather than from significant plaque reduction, which requires imaging to detect. The actual structural reversal of plaque requires consistent use over 3 to 12 months, with ultrasound or CT studies showing measurable improvements in intima, media thickness or calcium scores after 6 to 12 months of intervention in controlled trials. This timeline might seem long when you're used to pharmaceutical quick fixes, but consider that the alternative is continued plaque accumulation, progressive loss of function, and increasing risk of cardiovascular events that strike without warning. 6 to 12 months of drinking an inexpensive warm water mixture before bed is a small investment for potentially reversing years or decades of arterial damage and regaining vitality that pharmaceuticals often can't restore without side effects. Let's talk about enhancing the effects of these mixtures through strategic additions that amplify bioavailability and efficacy without complicating preparation. Adding a teaspoon of freshly ground flaxseed to any of these mixtures provides alpha-linolenic acid, an omega-3 fatty acid with anti-inflammatory properties that incorporates into cell membranes and reduces arachidonic acid-derived eicosanoids. The soluble fiber in flaxseed also helps bind cholesterol and bile acids for elimination, creating a 1-2 punch with the other compounds. Adding a small amount, 1 teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil to the mixtures, particularly those containing fat-soluble compounds like curcumin or garlic sulfides, can enhance absorption through lymphatic transport. Extra virgin olive oil itself has cardiovascular benefits due to its polyphenol content like oleocanthal that acts as a natural NSA aid. For men who find any of these mixtures difficult to consume due to taste intensity, mixing them with a small amount 2 ounces, of fresh orange juice or unsweetened cranberry juice can improve palatability without significantly diminishing effectiveness by buffering acidity and adding complementary flavonoids. The key is keeping the dilution minimal so you're still getting concentrated doses of the active compounds and not exceeding 10 total ounces to avoid sleep disruption. Now, let's address the hydration factor and practical concerns around nighttime urination. Drinking 8 ounces of liquid before bed raises valid concerns about nighttime urination disrupting sleep architecture and REM cycles. For most men over 50 with normal prostate function, 8 ounces consumed 60 minutes before bed is processed sufficiently by the kidneys that nighttime bathroom trips aren't a major issue, with urine production dropping during sleep due to ADH release. However, if you find you're waking frequently to urinate or have BPH symptoms, you can reduce the water volume to 6 ounces for the same compound concentration or consume the mixture 90 minutes before bed instead of 60 to allow full renal clearance. The warm temperature of the water is important for several reasons beyond comfort. Warm water is absorbed more quickly than cold water through the stomach and into the bloodstream due to reduced viscosity and enhanced gastric emptying. It's also more soothing and easier to drink, especially for mixtures that have strong or challenging flavors that might cause reflex gag at room temperature. Additionally, warm water helps the honey dissolve completely without crystallization and allows the coconut oil in some mixtures to remain liquid and mix well into a stable emulsion. The water should be warm but not hot. Temperature around 100 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal, easily achieved by mixing half boiling with half room temperature or using a kettle with temperature control. Water that's too hot above 140 degrees can degrade some of the beneficial compounds, particularly heat-label vitamin C, which loses 50% activity at 158 degrees, and certain enzymes in raw honey that denature above 118 degrees. Let's discuss the importance of using raw, unprocessed ingredients with specificity because quality determines outcomes. For honey, raw and unfiltered is essential because processing destroys many of the beneficial enzymes like glucose oxidase, antioxidant compounds, and pollen-derived flavonoids through high heat and filtration. Raw honey has a cloudy appearance and may contain small amounts of pollen, beeswax, and propolis. This is what you want for maximum anti-inflammatory effect. This is what you want for apple cider vinegar. You need raw, unfiltered vinegar with the mother intact. The mother is a colony of beneficial bacteria like Acidobacter and enzymes that forms naturally during fermentation, appearing as cloudy strands or sediment in the bottle that contains acetic acid bacteria, yeasts, and bioactive peptides. processed filtered apple cider vinegar doesn't contain the mother and lacks many of the beneficial compounds that modulate gut microbiota and enhance systemic effects. 4. Organic is preferable when available and affordable because pesticide residues like glyphosate can contribute to oxidative stress and inflammation through gut dysbiosis and mitochondrial interference, counteracting some of the benefits you're trying to achieve with these mixtures. Now, let's address safety considerations and contraindications with the seriousness they deserve, because natural doesn't mean risk-free. These mixtures are generally safe for most people when used as directed, but there are some situations where caution is warranted and medical supervision recommended. Men taking blood-thinning medications like warfarin, epixaban, or even daily aspirin should consult their health care provider before using these mixtures regularly, particularly those containing garlic, ginger, cayenne, or turmeric, as these herbs have antiplatelet effects that could theoretically enhance the effects of blood-thinning medications and increase bleeding risk, especially at higher doses. Men with gastroesophageal reflux disease or peptic ulcers may find that acidic ingredients like lemon juice and vinegar aggravate their symptoms through direct irritation or increased gastric acid production. If this occurs, the turmeric-based or hawthorn-based mixtures that don't contain acidic ingredients may be better tolerated, or you can take them with a small meal earlier in the evening. Men taking medications for diabetes like metformin or insulin should monitor blood glucose closely when using these mixtures, particularly those containing cinnamon or honey, as they may enhance the blood sugar-lowering effects of diabetes medications through improved insulin sensitivity and delayed gastric emptying, potentially leading to hypoglycemia if doses aren't adjusted. Let's discuss the expected progression of improvements with consistent use of these mixtures so you know what to track and when to celebrate wins. In the first 2 to 4 weeks, most men notice increased energy from better tissue oxygenation, improved circulation evidenced by warmer hands and feet and reduced cold intolerance, and sometimes initial improvements in male function as endothelial nitric oxide synthase activity increases. These early benefits come from reduced inflammation and improved endothelial function rather than structural changes. At 4 to 8 weeks, functional improvements typically become more pronounced and measurable. Male function often shows significant improvement in frequency and quality. Exercise tolerance increases with less shortness of breath, and some men notice improvements in blood pressure if it was elevated due to reduced vascular resistance. 3. Structural improvements in arterial health are occurring even if they're not obviously perceptible without imaging. Plaque is gradually being broken down and cleared through enhanced reverse cholesterol transport. Arterial flexibility is improving as measured by reduced pulse pressure, and risk markers like a CRP drop significantly. The full benefits of plaque reversal typically become apparent at 6 to 12 months of consistent use, with many men reporting complete restoration of function and vitality they haven't felt in years. The key word is consistent. These mixtures need to be consumed nightly for optimal results without exception, because occasional use won't produce the cumulative effects necessary for significant plaque reversal. The body needs daily substrate to maintain the repair cruise. Thanks for sticking with me through this comprehensive guide. If you found this valuable, please subscribe to Senior Men's Health for more evidence-based natural health strategies. Until next time.